Alright everyone, now we turn to South Africa to talk about how it's devolving into anarchy. Quite literally, there's mass looting and rioting going on. I can't remember how many people died just yesterday, but largely it is property damage, but it seems like the police there aren't actually doing their job, which makes sense because they're joining the looters. The government trying to tell people to be calm, but it's like, you caused the problem. Here's the thing, South Africa's having problems right now because of the economic and social woes brought on by socialism. I love it when leftoids don't understand that every other problem that you have, you've got widespread corruption, you have a lot of unemployment, you have a lot of underemployment and homelessness and poverty. You have a lot of economic problems in South Africa. All of those are contributing causes to what we're seeing now. That's the truth. But all of those in turn, and this is where leftists blank out and no longer follow the conversation, this is where their cognitive dissonance kicks in, all of them are caused by socialism. The problem is, you've created, and Ramaphosa is a self-proclaimed socialist, the ANC is self-proclaimedly socialist. It belongs to Socialism International, which is a group with member parties all over the world that pushes socialism. Their stated goal is to slowly move more and more into a socialist framework, and it's causing these problems. It's all self-proclaimed. It's self-professed. I love it when people from the outside looking in look at like South Africa, Cuba, or whatever. They're like, oh, that's not really socialism. Here's 10 reasons why, says my professor while sipping Starbucks. Well, I mean, you're not there. You don't understand even the broad theoretical underpinnings of socialism. You appear not to even understand what it is. You ask 10 different leftoids what socialism is, you'll get 10 different answers. I just look at it and say, well, they proclaim themselves socialists and I see the fruits of what they're doing. This seems to be the case virtually universally all around the world. Someone institutes socialism or hardline leftist system, communism, whatever, in one of its various forms, and it falls apart. And then they blame subversion. It's the CIA. The bourgeois hoarded goods. I used to say that under Stalin. What's really happened is that socialism forms highly centralized systems. See, the underpinning of all tyrannical systems is centrality. Under a dictator, a church, an oligarchic council, whatever it happens to be. Under socialism, the government appropriates more and more power. The idea that unions counterbalance this is bullshit. It's never actually been achieved and never will because it's impossible. Because again, that centralized system is all powerful. You don't have private property under such a system. You have property that's private in name. This is like how China works. Technically, if I'm a Chinese businessman, as long as I toe the line and do whatever I'm told, I can also do all the things that I want to do, as long as they conform to the party standard, which over time changes significantly. So I can abuse workers, supposedly part of the same collective and equal to me, but that's not how they're treated. I can abuse the environment stuff, but I have to praise communism. I have to be like Jackie Chan or Kobe Bryant or something like that, or LeBron James. I'm not allowed to criticize what's actually going on over in China or in any other commie country that China is currently friendly with. Well, then it's not really a capitalist system. I mean, the land that I've got and the factories and stuff, they're mine on paper. But the government can come in and nationalize them with the stroke of a pen. So they're not really mine. There is no private property. True communism, by the way, literally the abolition thereof, of which was the central premise proclaimed by Karl Marx. Another thing that most communists don't appear to understand. I love how they try to create a differentiation between personal and private property. Yeah, that's really going to work. Anyway, it is socialism that's causing the problems here. Some people are also getting a losing track. They're like, well, yes, but at the same time, it's also racism. Well, yeah, there's a racial component. The ANC is also ethno-nationalistic, or pan-ethno-nationalistic. Of course, there have been xenophobic attacks by the Zulu-linked groups there against other groups for years now. There were riots, I can't remember which year it was, I think it was 2015 or 14. You remember then when there were people from Tanzania, Zimbabwe, some of these other places, they had come to South Africa to open like businesses. People from India, Indian shop owners and shit like that, they'd come to South Africa because they're like, well, the economy is growing now, you got this large metropolitan area, I can carve out a business here and I can, live the high life. It's a good investment, potentially speaking. But then all their businesses got destroyed. For some reason, other people didn't up and leave or decide to join a gated community, and so they're getting fucked again. And this happens. Yes, the ANC is racist in nature. It is explicitly, chants about kill the Boers and stuff like that. However, again, that is essentially just subject to the socialism. Here's why. That tribalistic mentality, that id pol they're engaging in, is just an offshoot of leftism. We see this with U.S. leftoid groups. It's not that the leftoid group actually favors the BIPOC community, the AAPI. No, they're just trying to get 51% of the population to vote for them to enforce their leftoid views. This is what they always do. It's us versus them, but it's the little people versus the landlords. It's black versus white. This is what leftoid id pol is really about, and watching, by the way, U.S. leftists pretend that that can be severed from leftism as an overarching broad ideology is completely crazy. So remember, it's essentially the communists at first, and then, degraded back into socialism. It retrograded slightly from the furthest line leftism after apartheid ended. This is responsible for all of the problems in South Africa. I love it when some people are like, well, the alternative was like apartheid, and you're not defending apartheid, are you? Doing away with that did not require adopting communism light and destroying the economy and causing unemployment to soar up to above 40%. If that's the alternative, I think that there are a lot of people there that would say, well, at least under apartheid I had a job. I had a roof over my head. Now I'm slumming it in the fucking sewer and I have to live under an overpass and shit. Yes, there are people who are worse off under the commie light regime there, probably a significant proportion of the black population, by the way, than they were under apartheid. Yes, absolutely. South Africa has devolved into anarchy. There are people defending themselves, and I love it because only some of those people are actually white, and they're getting called racist for doing so. Oh my God, look at these racist gun toters. See, this is exactly why in the United States we must do everything in our power to get rid of all existing gun control, and everyone should be armed to the goddamn teeth to prevent specifically this kind of bullshit from happening in our country. That's about all. Peace out.